Let's talk about mean as leveling out. We'll try to get a deeper understanding of mean beyond just a formula. We can start with the question, what is the mean number of cubes in each tower? To start with, we have 4, 6, 2, and 8 cubes in each tower. To use a leveling out perspective, I'm going to try to make the towers all the same height. So I'll take from the tall towers and transfer cubes to the short towers until I have evened out the towers, leveled them out, and each tower has 5 blocks in it. So our mean is going to be 5. We can relate this leveling out strategy to our formula as well. So many of us know the average formula where we take the sum of all the data points. So in this case, that would be like taking apart all of my towers and merging them into one group. And then when I divide by the total number of data points, that's like creating 4, in this case, equal groups or 4 equal towers. So I've merged them all into 20 blocks, and then I make 4 equal towers out of that, and I can see that I have a total of 5 cubes per tower, or an average of 5. I can use this strategy for more difficult problems as well. How many cubes would need to be in the 5th tower to have an average of 6 cubes per tower? So I'm starting where I left off on the previous slide, where I had 4 towers, each with 5 cubes. So if I'm going to have 5 towers with an average of 6 cubes per tower, I'll start by creating that 5th tower with the 6 cubes. And then I'll come along and say, well, if it's an average of 6, then I can think about that as each tower having 6 cubes in it. And then I have to figure out how tall would that last tower have to have been. So I'll remove that extra cube from each one and put it onto the last tower. And I can see that that 5th tower actually has to be quite tall just to make the average 1 unit taller. So the 5th cube is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, the 5th tower is going to be 10 cubes tall. I don't have to actually build towers for this. I could do a visual representation on graph paper. Tom earns an average of 6 points per quiz for the first 4 quizzes of the semester. What would he have to earn on the 5th quiz to bring his average up to 7 points? This is a question that students ask me all the time. What do I need to get on the next test? What do I need to get on the next homework to have the grade that I want? So here it doesn't actually matter what the exact grades were on the first 4 quizzes. You could have had 5 on one quiz, 8 on the next quiz. The point is that the average is 6 points per quiz. So I can represent each of the 4 quizzes with a total of 6 points. Then I know I want my average to be 7, so I want to have 7 points per quiz. I start by thinking about, well, let's pretend that on my 5th quiz I got 7, the desired average. But then I have to go back and add an additional point to each of the first 4 quizzes, and then think about, well, the only place those points could come from is this 5th quiz. And so I end up with realizing that my 5th quiz would need to have 11 points in order to bring that average up to 7 points. Let's solve this with some other strategies. First, I think about how many points I've already earned, or Tom has already earned. And if I have 4 quizzes with an average of 6 points per quiz, then Tom has already earned 24 points. To have an average of 7 points per quiz, we'd have 5 quizzes times 7 points per quiz for a total of 35 points. So to bring his total up to 35 points, we have to look and see that we could take 35 points needed minus the 24 points already earned, so that last quiz would have to be 11 total points. We can use algebra as well. Let's set x as the number of points on the 5th quiz. Then we can use our average formula where we interpret the first 4 quizzes each as 6 points and the 5th quiz as unknown. and we know we're going to have a total of 5 quizzes, so divided by 5, and we know we want the average to be 7. So we can add up the 6 and get 24, multiply both sides by 5 to get 35 on the right, and then continue with our algebra to get x is 11, or the number of points on quiz 5 is 11 points. We can do a leveling out strategy without drawing a picture. Here we have Jerry has 4 different quiz grades, and instead of adding them all up and dividing by 4, we can just transfer 1 from the 8 to the 6, so they both have 7. Transfer 3 from the 10 to the 4, so they both have 7, and we can see that the average quiz grade is 7. The leveling out strategy can make a computationally intense problem easier, and it helps us understand what we're trying to say when we say we have an average of 7.